You just told me your
Are you
blood
ready to
is
start
so
today,
blue.
baby? Are you ready to go? Who put the leggings on this man's arms? Look at him.
Look at the sweat stains, bro. God, we have like the exact same jeans on today.
Nah, B.
Rook.
I pay for the fade.
You know what I realized yesterday? You look like your car.
Really?
Yo, am I right?
I look like my truck?
You look like your truck.
You think my truck like fits my personality?
Yes, like
it's
the,
a truck.
the
but
rails. It's like it almost looks like your hair pushed back.
Yo, I am a Nissan Frontier.
I swear to God, bro. Tony looks like his truck.
Because I am a truck, but I'm just a little truck. I'm not a big
wee
truck. Right.
Do I look like my truck? People's dogs or the owner
They assume the look.
always looks like their dog.
Yeah, you're definitely
like you
Brock
always
as
look like
fuck.
your dog.
You're Brock.
He
If
looks
Brock
like
was
Benji.
a human. If he like had one wish and he was like, I wish to be human, he'd just be you. Dump truck ass and all.
So like every night I let him out back to go pee, and he always comes flying in, and I have the door open for him, and I was on the phone so I wasn't paying attention. Bro, he ran top speed. Boom!
Downstairs?
Downstairs.
Oh my God.
I opened the door. He's like sneezing and
That
shit.
bitch
Yeah,
goes
bro.
first.
He was in pain.
Let's
Okay.
talk about debt,
Yo, B-Mom's getting better,
baby.
bro. This guy,
Let's talk about
I thought
you.
he was good. We haven't even seen his final form.
Nah, bro. Mob is
He's like Goku and shit.
infinite potential. Potential.
Potential?
Exponentially
Prudential?
infinite potential. Prudential. Let's get our song going. Let's talk about debt, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about
That's all we
the
got.
good debt and the bad debt.
All right, fellas, we are on podcast number 11.
11.
I used to like the number 11 when I played sports because I'm so good I need 2 number 1s on my shirt.
Oh, that's a bar.
Bars. Spitting.
That was fire.
You like
I've heard
that?
before.
Yeah, my dad taught me it. Thanks, Dad.
2 number
Shout out,
1s.
Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn.
Podcast episode 11. We're back like the usual. Every Wednesday, baby. It drops on Thursday every week.
Y'all.
Never going to miss one again. And today, we're talking about
Debt, baby. The good debt, the bad debt. If you don't know about it, you better find out.
you better be about it.
Yeah.
Big figgity
Debt
flapjack
is
facts.
huge. Let's go. What do you want to start with? What is debt?
So,
right?
yeah, we got to explain it first, right? Debt, very simply, is you take a loan out for something and it costs you money, whether it's most of them are monthly or quarterly or yearly. It's something that you have to service that thing with payments of some sort, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or yearly, but it's something that you got to fucking pay and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
Over time, you owe money. Motherfucker. Gotta
Nope.
pay
And
it
it's
back.
Debt against your name. It is, your net worth is in the negative.
Now, Zach, that sounds pretty bad.
That sounds bad.
I don't want debt.
D-E-B-T is a bad word.
But I noticed you said there's good and bad debt.
Correct.
What is good debt?
Well, good and bad. Good and bad and everything. I don't think debt's black and white. Like I think for some people there could be
It's like a spectrum,
yeah.
how I think of it.
Correct.
But go on.
That's
Tell
a
me
good
about
point.
it.
That's a good point. It is like a
it's
spectrum.
for sure, and I'm going to go into that.
Okay. So, debt. Well, first, let me say this: 99.99999% of people are going to get into debt in their life at some
999,
point.
shout out Hitler.
Maybe like
Sorry. Come on, go.
99.99% of people are going to get into some form of debt, like whether it's a house, a car, student loan. Those are like the big ones.
You can't survive without it.
You really can't.
When I was younger, I
It's
always said to myself,
rare.
I was like, yo, fuck debt and credit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pay for everything.
Yep.
Good fucking luck.
Dude, it's impossible.
You can't.
It's impossible.
You can't.
So same with credit, like that same thing. Credit and debt is kind of like the same
go hand
context,
in
just in
hand.
different ways. But if you don't control it and you don't understand the game, it's going to control and understand you. Like it's going to you're either going to leverage debt the right way or you're going to leverage it the wrong way, and it's going to take control of your life.
And
Like
credit.
the United States of America has leveraged debt the wrong way. We're in like
we're
$29 trillion.
We're fucked.
We're the worst out of everyone, and
like we don't get
and a
it.
credit score means everything to Americans.
The better your credit score, the better you are able to utilize debt to your advantage,
Yeah.
right? So, like,
Yep.
anyone can go into debt.
Yep.
Like, if you have bad credit, you can go get a car loan for 26%. But if you
Correct.
build your credit properly, which you have to go into debt to do,
Yep.
you'll be able to utilize your debt to make more money or to just not get fucked so hard when you do go into debt. The better your credit, I mean, this is pretty obvious. It's elementary shit. But like you got to start
Not for everyone.
with your credit. Yeah, that's true. Not for everybody. You got to start.
Some
by
people are
building
just
your
told as
credit.
a kid, like, debt's bad. Don't get into debt.
Yeah.
You know?
The better your
That's
debt.
a belief.
No, the better your credit, the less shitty your debt. I won't even say the better
Correct.
your debt
Because
it's shit wall to wall, really.
I mean, listen, there's the guy I was listening to yesterday was saying how, like, to a degree, debt is good, and like when you're buying real estate, let's say you're a real estate investor, leveraging and refinancing here and putting it over here, and you're using that debt. But also at some point, bro, debt can, even if you're making money from it, it's also there's a risk factor and there's a non-peace of mind when you have debt against your name.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even if you have $30 million in assets and you have $9 million in debt against them, you have to think about it as it's also a risk and a non-peace of mind. Like you know that you have $9 million
Right.
you owe to the bank, even if it's good debt, you know?
Right.
So to some degree, good debt can still be
At
scary
the
and risky
end
and bad.
of the day, good debt anyway, when you're using it, you can. The only good thing about it is it's a growing tool. You can use it to grow your business.
Correct.
Like even fucking the biggest guy ever, what's his name? Your favorite dude who's got all
Grant
the properties.
Cardone.
Grant Cardone. Like he has tons of debt.
Oh my
and
God,
it's great.
bro.
But it's only good for growing.
Yeah.
If he had all the properties he wanted and wasn't growing anymore, he wouldn't want debt anymore.
Yeah.
Then you want to eliminate your debt.
He makes a good point though. Like he says, he was like in the beginning, he got fucked. A bank closed down, and he owed the bank like 50 million or something like that.
Oh, shit.
And the bank came after him, saying that the bank got bought out, I think, by somebody else, and they had an agreement in there saying, you know, you were gonna owe us 50 million. They were like, dude, you need to give us 50 million now. And now that he's worth whatever, and he's got like $1 billion in debt,
Right.
he's like, it's no longer if something happens, it's no longer they come after me, and they don't. It's not my problem. He's like, it's the bank's problem with $1 billion. He's
Yeah.
like, they're gonna work with me and want to talk to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's true. He's become so big that it's in their best interest for him to succeed.
I know.
Or they're fucked.
Yeah.
But let's try to explain it to some people. I'm sure you have a billion examples of your fucking statistics.
Well, listen, the
what's
easiest-
what's a good debt and what's a bad debt with examples?
All right. So simply put, if you've listened to anyone, very easy examples. Bad debt is something that's a liability that's not making you money when you get into debt with it. So a car payment, you buy a luxury car. All it does is cost you money every month
Yes.
to service it.
Yep.
It doesn't give you much return on it. It doesn't give there's nothing that good that really comes out of a car other than
If
A
you
to B.
buy it brand new, it depreciates
Correct.
as soon as it
Depreciates
comes
like
off the
crazy.
lot.
Yep.
Now this is where I think there's a spectrum, right? And I'm gonna try and do this on every example you give, right?
Yeah.
A car, you go by, like, here's the bad side of the spectrum, good side. A car, everyone says, yeah, that's a bad debt. Well, it depends. Did you just go buy a Lamborghini for looks and it dropped in value as soon as you took it off the lot? Okay, you're all the way on this side of the spectrum. You're not making money. Or a work truck.
Did you buy a Ford Raptor?
Exactly.
That saved me 30 grand on my taxes.
But even better, are you actually using it for work? Is it making you money?
Yeah.
Like, people think buying a car, the nicer the car, the better. Like, no, bro. Go get something cheap that's lightly used, going to hold value for you. Try and get in the middle of the spectrum as much as you can on a car, because for most people, using your car is not going to make you money.
Correct.
It'll allow you to get to your job.
Correct.
So you got to think of everything that you purchase and any debt that you take on as, is this going to fuck me over time? Yes, it is. Any debt's going to fuck you, but how hard are you going to let it fuck you? You got to not go for
One
that.
finger, two fingers,
Right.
a fist.
We're
an
at
arm.
a fist over here. You got a couple fingers, which is sometimes nice. And then over here, you're doing the fucking. So you just got to look at any debt you take on as how am I going to make this debt as least impactful on my wallet as I can.
Yeah.
But go on. What's another
Like
example?
Abe,
of a
bro, he's
debt?
never lost money on cars because all the cars he buys
Right.
them for under what they're worth, drives them for 6 months, sells them and makes $6 grand on
I
them.
have lost the minimal amount. Well, my uncle's
I've
a
lost a
car
lot of
dealer,
money on cars,
so he gives me a fucking great deal. Shouts out Uncle Steven, MAG Auto, go get him. But every time I buy a truck, I didn't buy that thing new.
Yeah.
I bought it used I fucking paid decent money for it, like nothing crazy. And when I go and sell it, I'm not gonna lose my ass on it.
Let me say this too. God damn it.
I don't have a big payment on it.
Let me say this. Talking about what the difference. I think a house, the house you live in, is an asset and bad debt at the same time. Because the house you live in, you have equity in most of the time, and it is
Yeah.
an asset
Yeah.
to a degree, but it's also bad debt because it's a liability and you have to pay it every single month. And I looked up this stat. Here's a statistic. Number one for the day. 30% of the average person in America, 30% of their wealth is fixed inside their home. So if they are worth $1 million between their stocks and all that kind of shit,
Yeah.
$300,000 of that is just money, equity in their
Held
home,
up in their house.
which is not good, bro. It's not.
No.
When it's your home, it's bad debt because you really can't leverage that to a degree.
Yeah, you can. If you're smart,
you
you
can
take out
refinance it and things like that.
a line of credit, a home equity line of credit.
you
That's
can
smart
too.
debt.
But that doesn't.
If you're using the money
My
right.
point is, hold up. My point is that won't build wealth because you have a nice house with a lot of equity in it. Does not make you rich.
Right. But let's talk about the spectrum again, right? Your house, I would say, is in the middle. Because no matter what, you need shelter. You need to sleep somewhere. You ain't doing it for free. On the worst end of the spectrum, you have a lease. You rent your house. And all that money, every time you pay for your rent, whatever you're renting, you're never getting that money back. At least it goes from a fist to just two fingers, right?
Yep.
Like when you have a house, I heard someone say that's bad debt because you're not making money back on it. It's not good debt, but it's better debt than the alternative. And it doesn't get better than that when it comes to housing yourself. There's no option where you unless you own a house outright.
Yeah.
But then
that's stupid. You should never buy a house.
Yeah, then all that money, let's say, like you said, a $300,000 house, now your money's tied up.
Like Dave Ramsey's point of you should wait and buy that house cash and all that kind of shit. But the whole point of that, you just lost 10 years of opportunity cost. If you're saving
no, not necessarily.
Hold up. If you're saving, let's say 20 grand a year, let's say you're making good money and you're saving 20, 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
It takes 8 years till you could buy that house all cash. And now you've purchased your house all cash, $350,000 house in all cash. But you just lost 10 years of renting and opportunity costs and the equity you could have built in the home and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, but then you take out a line of credit against the house that you own.
Yeah, but it took 10 years of you
paying.
to
build the money up. Okay, I got you.
That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
so then if that's the case, if you don't have the money to put out, you get a mortgage.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
my point.
Absolutely.
Grant Cardone said that the housing market is a scam created by the banks in order to lend money.
It's true.
They need a product.
It's true, dude. Listen, the whole thing of a bank is the most mind-boggling
It's fucking bullshit.
thing on the planet. And we are so normalized to shit, but a bank is the most corrupt thing in the world.
The whole world.
Like, yeah, it is a great service and it's a great tool that people could use if you understand it. But bro, you give them all your money. They give you 0.01% back. If you want to go take that money, they don't even have it. They just give it to other people and loan it out. And they make 10, 15, 20, 30% on it over the years. And just, you give it, like, there's $50 billion in the bank. And they go make 10% on it.
Right.
And they give you 0.01 because you gave them money.
If that, right.
Like, think about doing that to a friend, a person. I give you
scum,
10
bro.
grand.
Every bank.
You use it and make 20 grand, and you give me back $10.
Here we go. Here's my spectrum. Over here we got 5 stars.
Banks are bad.
Over here we got a fist. Banks, even the best bank, I'm giving them 3 fingers.
Yeah, dude. Banks are fucking
They're giving us
bad.
3 fingers.
Now, there is a level of security, and you leave your cash in your house, mold's gonna get it, the fucking fire is gonna happen. It's not a lot of security,
Right.
And that's why debt comes into play.
I mean, it
with
is
good
good
debt, which is real estate,
Yeah.
stocks, things of that nature that you can leverage and make money from.
It is good for the economy, banks. Because they're taking the money and they're recirculating it rather than you just having it, like you said, sitting in the walls of your house or in a safe where it's not serving
You know
the
what's
economy.
better for the economy though? You putting it in an investment property.
Yeah, but
or putting it in the
scared.
stock
People
market.
are scared. That's why they just leave their money in the bank.
I know.
Fuck, I'm not innocent to that. So I leave money in the bank and I shouldn't. Nobody should.
Yeah.
You should be utilizing it and doing something with it. But that sense of security is huge.
Money and lend it out 9 times.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's what they do.
they make crazy money on our money. Like that. they're worth hundreds of billions of dollars because of that.
Motherfuckers.
Because
You know what
we
I think
give
is even
them money.
worse? You think banks are bad. The whole credit system is so fucked. The way you build your credit is by making minimum payments. You know what else making minimum payments does? It keeps those fingers in your ass as long as possible.
There's a lot of fingers in ass this episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change.
What happened last night, too? Did you like? You want to talk about it?
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm extra bubbly today. But credit itself, like when I first started, I remember I was like 18 years old and me and Vito wanted to buy a house. And he was like, all right, we got to start by building your credit. And I was like, all right. I started researching how to do it. And it was like, the best way to build your credit is to take out loans and make the minimum payment, which is essentially just take out loans and pay as much interest as possible. At the end of the day, that's what you have to do to build your credit.
Yeah.
And you have to take out, you did a bunch of research on this shit lately. You have to have, to have a great credit
I got
score
like
like
8 credit
800,
cards.
you have to have, what is it, like
If you have,
24
if you
lines
have
of credit,
to,
open and close?
To have a perfect credit score, you have to have a minimum of, I think it's 19
It's insane.
accounts open.
I still have
Whether
not
that's
had 19
through
accounts.
loans or credit cards or whatever.
Going
you have
and
to have
getting
19
a Best
total
Buy
accounts.
credit card to pay for
To
a
have a
computer,
perfect credit
going
score.
to Bob's Furniture and getting a loan for your furniture, which is a good tool, I think, because they usually do that like 12-month free financing, so you're actually not paying interest on
That's
that type
great
of
shit
shit.
to do. There's a lot of hacks to build your credit now. But like, dude, having good credit is so fucking important. It's
Oh my God.
unbelievable.
It is.
The amount of money you can A, save, and B, make having good credit is insane. Like,
Insane.
I could go to American Express right now and get a $200,000 loan, guaranteed. No problem. For a business loan or whatever else I want. Guaranteed. They send me fucking things every
All
month.
the time.
Like, that is so powerful. If I can get that 200 grand, bro,
If you
at,
need it.
even at 6, 7, 8%, that's inflation right now. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free. And I can go make money on it. And any percentage I make on it is making me money because they're loaning to me at 7% and inflation 7%. So 200 grand in my account is net zero anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? And actually 200 grand is negative the other way because they give me 0.01 on it. So they don't give me no fucking money for it being in my goddamn account.
Right.
And this is why I like real estate so much better than stocks. And, you go to like my financial advisor always tells me, yeah, but the stock market will net you 10% every year, guaranteed. You don't have to do it or worry about it or whatever. Yes, but in order for me to gain money in the stock market, if I want to gain 10% on 100 grand, I have to get 100 grand and put it in. If I want to own a real estate property that's $100,000 worth, I only got to put down 10 grand or
Right.
20 grand.
Right.
So I can control an asset worth way more money with leverage and good debt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where the stock market, things like that, yes, you're going to make good money, and I think you should have a even balance between both. But I think real estate's a much better investment because you can leverage that money and have it get so much more. You get cash flow from it. You get cost segregation of the asset from it. You get tax write-offs. You get appreciation of the asset. You get all kinds of shit in real estate. Where in stocks, on paper, you're rich. Elon Musk is very rich on paper.
On paper, right. And it's all on paper. That's
But
the
it's a
thing.
lot of it's on paper.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I like Grant Cardone so much, and I'm so about what he does. Because, listen, he gets a couple $1 million to hit his account every fucking month.
Yeah.
Like clockwork.
Yep.
Where all these big rich
And
guys
everything
that
he
have
has-
stocks, they don't get that money in
Right,
their account.
everything he has is tangible.
Yeah.
Where if fucking Putin gets mad at us and sends an EMP over here, Elon
There
Musk's
goes your
money
net
is
worth.
imaginary.
There goes
Right.
your net worth. So that is like big, big, big to me. Like, that's why I'm so fruitful in real estate, because I want the cash flow. I want the appreciation. I want to be able to leverage that debt and all the fucking things that come with it, the tax write-off, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
If I take a $200,000 and put it in an index fund, I don't get a tax write-off. You get no tax write-off.
Really?
Unless it's into a retirement account.
Yeah.
Unless it's into an IRA or a 401k. And then you can't touch that money till 65.
Jesus.
So that's not fucking smart either.
Imagine you're not allowed to touch your own money.
It's so
Everything's so
wild the way that we've become normalized to what they do.
right. And
What
if
the
we
Big
just
Brother
if people
does.
would just educate themselves, you can do what they're doing without
That's
them.
it. You could be a bank.
Right. You
Grant
really
Cardone is a bank. He runs syndicates. People give him money for his real estate. He puts in the real estate for them, and he gives them a check every month. You know? That's what all these big syndicators do, buy big properties. And I think that's a much better way to put your money somewhere than to leave it in a bank account.
Yeah.
Money has no value unless it's used or spent. So money in your account is literally just security. Until it's used, it means nothing.
Placeholder.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a placeholder of value.
So here I got a question for you.
Shoot, baby. I got time.
Is student loans good or bad?
Back to the spectrum. I don't think it's good or bad. Nothing's black and white, right? If you went to school to become a doctor and you paid, I don't know, rough numbers, you paid $100,000 for your education, but then you made it back the first year and you paid off your debt, good debt, great.
Okay.
If you went to college to try it because everyone in your fucking life told you you need to go to college and you put yourself in $60,000 worth of debt and then you finished and you didn't even fucking decide what you wanted to do, that's an awful debt. The worst debt, if you ask me, because now you have this $60,000 debt, which is going to be probably closer to $180K by the time you're done paying it off.
Oh, yeah, with an 8% interest rate and shit.
You have to pay it off. There's no way around it. Unless you die, which is probably a better option at that point.
Seriously.
But you can't, that money is just against you. It's working against you in every way. You're going to be scared to go back to college and do what you really want to do now because you're so afraid of that fucking debt that you incurred.
Dude, people pay off student loan for 20 years, 30 years.
Crazy
And
shit.
you ready? This is why student loan almost always to me is bad debt. Because if you file bankruptcy,
you still have to pay it.
It doesn't go away.
Don't go
It's
away.
one of the only debts and loans that
So
no matter
fucked.
what you do, it's there.
Make sure you
It'll
go to college.
never, ever, ever go away. And that, what I was talking about before, that risk factor, that peace of mind factor, that cloud over your head, that is fucking scary to me.
Yeah.
Like if I got student loan debt, bro, I would not eat food to pay off that debt because I need to get rid of that shit fast.
And people are so encouraged to go get it. It's the most encouraged.
And it's some easiest attainable debt to get.
Yeah. It's insane.
I want to go to college. Oh,
Right.
yeah, here's $100,000. Why don't you go? Here's $100,000.
Oh, you're 18 years old. You've never experienced the real world, and you think you know what you want to do because you've thought about it for a year.
Yep.
You've never even tried it, but you're going to take on $100,000 worth of debt to go
No
find
problem.
out.
You know
Find
what?
out that you hate it.
I want a $4,000 car. Can you give me a loan for $4,000? I want a car. Bank? Fuck you. You're
Fuck
18.
you, yeah.
Like
Seriously. Or to
it's
go start a business.
the easiest debt to get in the world. Everybody has it, or everybody that goes to college usually gets it. You know what I mean? They just hand it out like candy.
The
And
game
it's
is rigged,
The
people.
worst debt in the
game
world.
is rigged.
It's an astronomical amount of number how much debt we're in as a student loan compared to other things.
Yeah.
All right, and back on the topic we were on before. I wanted to say about the housing, and I forgot. So I don't know what to call it. I heard it from this guy Alex Hormozzi, who's fucking shout out. This guy is amazing to listen to. He called it the half and half, which is a lot of times when we want to go buy something, let's say AKA our dream house, we try to rationalize it in our head by saying, well, I'm going to buy my dream house, but I'm also going to make it a good investment at the same time. And then we end up getting a mediocre at best investment and not our dream house. So if you're going to do something like that, you should, if you can't afford the dream house you want, then you need to go make more investments to afford that dream house.
Right.
But at the time when you go to buy that dream house, it should have nothing to do with the investment side. You should just go fucking buy the dream house that you want.
Yeah.
And if you can't buy that $3 million dream house, then don't buy it and go make
Right,
more
it's like
investments
just
till you can afford it.
Stick
Stop trying
to
to
one
yeah.
or the other. Don't try and
We
mix
do that
it.
in so many things in
Yeah.
life. We try to half and half it. Well, we kill two birds at one stone.
Right.
Well, I'm going to do that, but if I can make it this at the same time, I'll rationalize it more and I'll do it before I really should.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I kind of do that in a way.
I think
'Cause,
a
like,
lot
maybe
of
I don't
people-
so much though, because like I'm at that point. I'm 30. Like
Yeah.
I should have a house, but I don't want to buy one because I'd rather put my money into something that makes money. So I've kind of lived by that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to pay rent to someone anymore.
Yeah.
I do pay rent right now, and I say it to everyone: don't fucking pay rent. Go house hack. Go buy something, and then have
Well, we're
somebody.
trying
else
to, and we
pay it.
got fucking outbid.
I know the market is so fucking insane right now.
We got a house, and then the next day they went, and someone else. We got an accepted offer, and the next day, someone came in and offered like $5,000 more, and no inspection, all cash offer, and basically told us to go fuck ourselves.
Yep, as we would have to anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. After our 9 fucking offers we put in, we finally get one, and then we get right in the butt.
Boop, fingers in the booty.
Fingers in there.
What else you got?
But
Did we go over? Oh, did we touch on any good debts? Yeah, we did. I mean, rental property.
Housing, a lot of like you'll hear rich people. They talk about all the time how rich people pay no taxes and shit. Really, the real answer to why rich people pay no taxes is because a lot of their money is held up in stocks, and they don't actually become more cash rich every year. It's untaxable gains. If you don't take the money out of the market, you don't pay taxes on it. So people always say like the rich pay no taxes. It's because they didn't really get that much more cash rich in
And the
year.
money they spend is good debt.
And correct.
Because you could have, let's say you have $100,000 in investments. You can borrow against that at 50%.
And then when you get to a serious level, like if you're talking, you got a couple million in index funds or things like that, you got 7, 8, 9, 10 million.
You could
A lot of
borrow
them,
$1 million
they
of
take-
it,
they-
and it's untaxable.
Correct.
Because it's a debt.
Because it's a debt.
So that's a really good debt.
But that's a tricky debt. Listen,
If you can utilize it correctly.
correct. You got to be
Asterisk
you
on
can't do
fucking
that,
everything we say
You
today
should not do
because-
that at $50,000 in your fucking Robinhood
shot.
account.
Unless you have
Terrible
a
idea.
$25,000 investment that's going to be that's going to have a huge turnaround for you, then yes, you should. Asterisk on everything, bro.
If you can put that money in like a low cost, if you could put that money in a low cost index fund and have it at whatever, if you could put $500,000 in a low cost index fund, take a loan out against that and buy real estate with it or something, that could be really how you manipulate money and leverage it.
Yeah.
Because now you own this asset and it's still growing every year and you have the money there, and then you took debt out against it and bought another asset with that same money. Now the volume of that $250,000 just spread to two
You're making
things and
that
it's making
debt
a lot
better
of money.
and better. It's moving
you know?
up the spectrum. Fingers
You know?
are coming out of your butt.
Oh,
and stars
all
are
the
coming
fingers
up.
are out of your butt. Every finger. That's the butthole is nice and fucking tight. Like that,
man.
bro. You're also scared though.
Funny part
'cause
is by the time you're
market's
old
scary.
and you get all the fingers out of your ass don't work right anymore.
When you're 65 and they tell you can retire.
You've had so many fingers in your ass. You
Now
wonder
you're
why
dying
they sell
7 years
You
later.
wonder why they sell adult diapers.
Fucking seriously. Well, on another note,
What do we got next there, Zachy?
I think there's one key factor that literally is a difference between wealthy people and poor people or middle class. So I think right now, I looked at it the other day, I forgot the exact number, but like 83% or 73% or something up there of people in America are in the middle class. So they make between $40,000-$50,000 a year. They're above poverty and below $400,000 a
I'm
year.
calling that lower middle class.
Well, that is lower middle class. Then the middle class is like 100, 200. Then upper middle class is like $300,000-$400,000 a year. But if you make less than $400,000 a year and more than $40,000 a year, I think it is, you're considered middle class.
Okay.
And the only difference between the middle class and the rich is literally one thing. I'll let you try to take a guess what it is before I say it. One thing that differentiates people. Everyone has liabilities.
Starting their own
Everyone's got assets.
Utilizing
everyone's got money.
your money to make more money, probably.
Talking about investments.
Almost.
Yeah, but
it's
like
kind of correct.
But like,
here's the thing.
there's so many different ways you can roll that, like buying properties
I know.
or purchasing a business.
Oh, they don't use their own
Or-
money. That's what it is.
No, that's a big one too. But it's a degree of that. But it's more simple. It's
All right,
like
what is it?
To compartmentalize it, it's literally everyone has liabilities, assets, expenses, things like that. The rich people, instead of I think this might be your new guy internship. Instead of going from money made to liabilities or expenses, you put one thing in the middle. Money made, buy assets with it that pay you, and then spend all your money on expenses and liabilities.
Okay,
So if
yeah.
you just, before you buy the expense and before you buy the liability, if you could just buy an asset and then let that pay for it, you have
Okay.
literally completely
So in layman's terms, right?
destroyed the
People are
spectrum.
making their money. Let's say you made 50K this year, and instead of putting their money towards something that's making them more money, they are spending more money on the things they need, their
Because
expenses.
no matter how rich you are, you always have expenses and liabilities. Everyone has assets, liabilities.
Right, but you
Good.
can fill either bucket. You can
Yeah.
either put more of your money into your expenses, which is buying a bigger house, buying a nicer car, buying nicer clothes, or you can still continue driving your shitty car with your shitty clothes and putting your money into a place where it comes back to you.
Correct.
Okay.
You still fund that lifestyle. You just put one thing in the middle, a couple more years of work or whatever you want to call it. You buy the asset first, and then you live off the fucking cash flow and the
Right.
asset, and then you're rich.
So one is circulating your
Yeah.
money back to you,
Yeah.
and the other one is, I'll call it stuck in the loop, but it's not a loop because it's a one-way street,
Yeah.
and your fucking money's coming out of your pocket.
Assets to liabilities, or sorry, money made to liabilities, or money made assets then liabilities, and you have literally completely changed your fucking life.
Yeah.
Because if your
Except the-
assets fund your lifestyle,
Right, the assets feed back
Correct.
into your money made.
like there's people that like my first year in solar, bro, I made 99 grand,
Woo!
and I spent all of the money. Like at the end of the year, I was like 3,000 in my bank account. Like I'd never made money before, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna spend crazy money. But what better am I if you made 30K a year and you have 20K in your account?
Right,
You are more rich than me.
right.
So at the end of the day, like no matter how much money you make, if you're not putting it into shit that's gonna help pay for you, if this asset or if this job goes away or the way you're making money goes away, you don't have something right here to replace your liabilities and your expenses, you're dead broke again.
Right.
If you lose, like the only thing between you and poverty is a job,
Yeah.
and if that's your only thing, you can get broke really quick.
Yeah.
You can get broke really, really fast. You know.
And a good example of what you just said too, like, people not spending their money on things that make them more money is just something that reminded me of is like this. I don't know. I saw it on some type of social media, but it was like Louis Vuitton, right? Who were their biggest customers? We think that these rich people who have tons of money are their biggest clientele or the largest portion of people who buy their products, but it's not. It's people who can't really afford that shit, who are taking this money that they should be putting into something that makes them more money, and instead they're buying, like I said, nicer things. And they're fucking spending all their cash on these nice purses, these designer clothes, and like it's funny to me that it's the people who can't fucking really afford it that are buying it. That's who it's marketed to.
Yep.
To make them feel like they're successful when really you're just throwing your fucking money away.
To look at.
Little off point, but I think it's important for people to think about that type of shit. Like, stop spending your money on dumb shit that's not going to make you more money. Unless you buy a one-of-a-kind purse that's going to appreciate in value over time, but who the fuck is doing that?
Yep. And it gets much easier to make money when you got money. That's a big thing
Hell
that
yeah.
I think is overlooked. And debt and credit and all that stuff, it gets much easier. Like let's say you only have 30K in your account, right? And you're gonna go buy a piece of real estate, and all you have is 30K, and the down payment's 25K, and then the closing costs are 3K, and you have $2,000 left. It's so much harder for a person to go and do that. So I think you need to exhaust whatever avenue you're making money in first before you go and like I own a business, right? Or I run a sales team. You shouldn't make money and take that money and put it right into assets. You should take that money you're making first and fill up this beast to make the money you're making bigger before you go put it in assets. Does that make sense?
Okay,
So if
yes.
I'm making $100,000 a year, but I know Andrew, a guy on our team, can make $1 million doing what I'm doing, I need to take that money first and re-put it back into his business.
Most jobs
to max
you
this
can't even
out.
do that though. Most jobs you
know.
can't do that.
Correct.
Like
That's
how
the-
are you?
that's the
Imagine you work
downfall.
at Starbucks. No matter how much money you fucking saved, you can't reinvest it into your job
Yeah.
to make more money.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
It's very bad. Listen, I have strong opinions on it, but I think the only way to really make good money and like there's no job that's gonna pay you and give you the lifestyle you want to live. It's a fact. Jobs are great, and I have nothing against someone having a job, but there's just about zero jobs that are gonna give you the
Closer to
lifestyle you
0%,
want,
right?
where you're gonna make good money, you're gonna have free time, you're gonna have a good life bro, yeah, okay, you want to argue with me? You're going to be on Wall Street and make $5 million. You work from fucking 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You're stressed all fucking day.
Right.
You commute in traffic. Your life fucking sucks, okay? You're not wealthy.
3 fingers.
Yeah. That's like all the fingers, bro. That's a fucking leg in there.
Oh, we got one here.
So
if you need
there's
it.
only really 2 ways to have that lifestyle, and it's sales or a business owner. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Or you could be an
Well,
investor, which
business-
is kind of
I'm
a
going to
business
say
owner.
business owner.
But
Or a 1099
you can
employee.
make you
Because
can
most
make $500,000
1099 employee
in sales and
jobs,
be
you,
happy.
you can reinvest your money into yourself.
Yes.
I would think.
I mean, yeah, we're all
Unless I'm
1099
missing.
and we can.
Yeah.
But my point is just you shouldn't immediately focus on another thing as soon as you start making money. I think you should tap out whatever
maximize the
avenue
potential
you're in now. Yeah, like if
of
you only
what
got
you're
10
in.
grand in your account, don't go try to buy real estate. Take the 10 grand and make yourself better. So instead of earning 100 grand, you now earn 200 grand. Like the best investment you can make is in yourself to get better skills, get better personal development, get all that stuff, because the
Right.
10 grand in real estate is going to give you an 8% return on your money. But the 10 grand spent back in yourself, and now you make 300 grand, that's a whole lot better investment. And you
Hell
have
yeah.
skill sets that can't be
Right.
taken away, you know?
Right. And that you don't have to pay for.
Correct.
Well, unless you pay crazy for your education.
All right, closing thoughts? I got mine. You got any?
Shoot, what's yours?
Talk about making the bet.
The bet?
The bet.
Yeah, that's coming up. That's the next thing I'm gonna say. The first thing I'm gonna say is
Closing thoughts.
closing thoughts. I heard this yesterday and I'm still mind fucked by it. And I've always known it, but just the way he said it was so like it hit my brain in a whole different way than I've ever heard it. I was baffled when he said it. So we live in
Baffled.
this game. We have a game of life, right? We're in this game of life that everyone's trying to be happy about and do the things they want, whatever, right? He compared it to a casino. So we live in, if our life was a casino, right? And we
Yeah.
lived in the game, the life of the game of the casino. You go into the casino, everyone gets chips. We're all given our chips. You could value those chips as money. You can value those chips as happiness, as whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
Time, whatever those chips are. We all go to the casino, and some people, I build up more chips, you build up less chips. Some people have no chips. Some people have fucking 80% of the chips. But at the end of the day, that game you play. The guy comes up on your shoulder, the Grim Reaper, he says, "Let's go, bud, you're done playing the game." All the chips go to the middle, you leave, and somebody else takes those chips and start playing. The house that we're buying as an investment, 18 people owned it before us. They all had their chips in the game.
Right.
So at the end of the day, all the chips go back into the center of the table by everyone at the table, and then someone else takes those chips and start playing with it.
Yeah.
And no matter how much wealth I build, 30 generations will never know who the fuck I am, and that person is just a human being as much as the internship who just walked in. I don't know him, he doesn't know me. My kids I'm going to know. My kids' kids I'm going to know. Their kids. I have no idea who they are, bro.
Right.
They're just a human being on a planet for all I fucking know.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, all the chips go to the center table. Everyone's just using and abusing, and we're all gonna die. And
Get your hand on as many
that's
chips
what
as
it is.
possible.
There's no way to win the game of life. The way to win is to just do what the fuck you want.
Right.
You don't
Be
have to be
happy.
the rich man, bro. If you don't want to be rich, then don't be rich.
Right.
Like if you just want to fucking smoke weed, then bro, smoke weed. There is no rules to life. There's nothing you have to abide by.
Right.
You know,
Just be happy.
it's
Tough for people to figure out.
It's very tough. Very, very tough. But even everything, like the guy said it like this. What's trauma? Like, would you consider having sex, a 40-year-old man having sex with a 15-year-old, would you consider that bad?
Yeah.
200 years ago, that was normal.
Yeah,
200
true.
years ago, 40-year-olds had sex with 15-year-olds all the time.
Yeah.
They had 9 wives, no problem. We have made rules that's now trauma, and that's a bad thing, and that's a traumatic experience in your life.
I do not share
But
the
that's just-
opinions expressed by Zach Dingy on this episode.
I agree. Of course, I fucking agree. If a 40-year-old fucks a 15-year-old, that's really bad.
Yeah.
But trauma and that's just a belief system that we have all come to agree. 500 years ago, bro, we would be murking animals
Right.
all day long.
Or each other.
You saw a
There was
squirrel, bro,
tribes of
you were
Indians.
shooting the fuck out of that thing.
Right.
And that was your food. But now it's like Dude, you run over a squirrel and my girlfriend cries in the car for an hour. Like, she hates me like I'm a demon to her.
Right.
But that's just a belief system that we
Yeah.
come to see.
Absolutely, bro. We used to murder each other back when it was all like Native Americans were shooting each other in the heart with arrows and
Oh.
fucking cutting each other's heads off and rolling it down Montezuma stairs and all that crazy shit. And that was just normal. It was like, oh,
Correct.
it's Saturday. We're going to kill someone and sacrifice them because it hasn't rained in a week.
We would go to fucking war and like...
Shit
Go
is
ahead, say what
crazy.
you're gonna say.
No, man, I think it's great.
Shit
Yeah,
is
we would go to
crazy.
war. Like, that was a normal thing, bro.
Right.
You'd
And
wake
now
up-
it's coming back and everybody thinks it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But we already did 2 of these world wars where we sent young people to die all the
we're
time.
become so distant from history books. Like,
Right.
bro, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, all our great grandparents, motherfucker, at 18 they went to war and that was
Right.
it, you know. But
Right.
now war is so dramatic to us and like, oh my god, I'm gonna get drafted.
Yeah.
Like, that's so scary. But again, 200 years ago, that's what we knew.
Right.
Life was. So we just build these belief systems.
Some of that is based in, like, some of these new ideals are based in morality and humanity.
Yep.
Some of them are based in the fact that we value human life.
It's culture. It's just our culture has
Some
changed.
of them are just us with the high beams on, looking for, like, the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you gotta take them with a grain of salt.
Of course, a big fat grain of salt, like that big.
A fucking rock.
And then my last closing thought is that making a bed in the morning is overrated as fuck.
Nah, fuck that. I
It's-
love making my bed. Yeah.
See, everyone says that. That's everyone's answer.
Did you
to
ever
me,
read
but-
the book, Make Your Bed?
Yeah, I did. I have it
did?
actually on my thing, and I used to make my bed all the time.
And now you
Overrated
don't.
as fuck. I go back in it every day, bro. I'm
Okay.
gonna get home. I'm gonna go in it.
This guy's like, I shit every day. Why am I gonna wipe my ass?
Yeah, like what?
I don't wipe my ass. I'm gonna just
That's
shit
different.
again.
Because if you don't wipe your ass stinks all day, and you're itchy, and it sucks.
See?
Making your bed
I told
when
you,
you leave the
he
house.
knows all too much.
Okay, come on. What are we all fucking? What are we all perfect? When you leave your bed, bro, it doesn't affect my day.
No, but when I come home and my bed is made and it looks comfortable.
You know
to
what's
hop
better for
into?
me?
What?
When I go out and have a successful day and make 20 grand, that makes me feel better than going home and seeing my bed made.
It's true.
Like, my whole thing is, the reason I'm saying it is because if you go on YouTube and type in my morning routine, there's about 70 million videos of people's fucking special morning routines. You meet a millionaire and they're like, hey, Donald Trump, what's your morning routine like? Like, what do you do? And they think that's supposed to change their life.
Yeah.
His morning routine has nothing to do with him making that much money.
Right.
Maybe 0.001% has his morning routine to do with his wealth that he's
Some
created.
people like it to get into that mental state before they go work out, but I,
I think
don't really
it's
have
heavily overrated.
I don't have a morning routine aside from ingest caffeine. Maybe like take a shit.
I think it's
and
heavily
shower.
overrated. I wake up, bro. I fucking put clothes on. I leave. I go to the gym.
Yeah.
I don't need to write down my 10 goals or take a fucking ice bath or all that shit. Like, I get it. That shit's all cool and I'm about it. But, dude, it's so overrated.
Yeah, I don't
It's
need
so
to do all
overrated. Like, from 4 to 4:17 a.m., I'm going to be in the shower, a cold shower. And then from 4:17 to 4:27, I'm going to be writing down my goals. And, like, people have this whole schedule that they
And
try
then
to
I
make up.
crank one out from 4:18 to 19.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Clean it up.
Wait,
And
you
by
can get one out in a minute?
who, me?
Yeah.
I'll do it right now.
that's impressive. You can get one out in a minute.
Dude, I got a busy morning.
I like to make it an experience.
Oh my God, I was
Rice lights
kidding.
candles,
Are we going to
bro.
get into this with the masturbating? I'm going to skip over that and I'm going to give my
Okay.
my closing thoughts.
Go ahead.
You have to go into debt in your life. Not every debt, black and white, is going to be good or bad. There's a spectrum. Pick the fucking, get as close to the good side as you can. That's it. Think about what you're buying. Think about where you're putting your money and how it's making other people money. And try to avoid, paying that interest.
My closing thought is, don't waste time making your fucking bed. Just go back to something else,
That's-
you little bitch.
Yeah, if you get anything out of this, don't make your bed
Don't
tomorrow.
make your bed. Waste time. See you guys later.
Hasta.
Hasta.